All right, guys. Well, welcome back here. It's 9/11. So I didn't realize we'd scheduled this for 9/11. I don't even know what to say about that one. A patriotic day, I suppose.
Quick chime in. Our city had a little ceremony at the golf course this morning in honor. So I did my part. We prayed and socialized and said our good wishes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put my flag out, I guess. So, all right. Well, let's see. Other than the crazy smoke in the air out here in Southern California and all of that, where are you guys at? Who needs help with something here? Who's gonna jump in first?
Good morning, everyone.
Hey, Woody, how you doing?
Woody.
My wonderful brothers and sisters. I have a question
Okay.
about when you get people onto your website. Like me, I'm going to be doing certain advertising to drive people to my website. I have a question. And what is there a way to be friendly and say, I got lots of free content for you. A couple of top 10 lists, a couple of 10 things you never want to do, stuff like that. But also add, but are you qualified? Try to make it kind of exclusive and make them come to you by taking away. You know what I mean, John? Like,
Yeah.
let's say they want to sell a house. Well, they've got my attention all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do anything for them. But let's say they got on the site because they go, oh, Woody, he's not only a real estate broker that's unique, but he's also an educator and trainer.
Yeah.
So I sort of get them to pay for the education and training and be friendly about it. I don't know. You know what I mean, John?
Sure. No, absolutely. And this is something for everybody because we all do a lot of things. I don't think any of us on here just do one thing, right? We're all good at multiple things. And our websites should reflect us in all that we do. But you have to be careful of trying to put too much stuff on any given page. So with a website, you want to make sure that categorizing things is really important. And what that means is more pages. So if you've got 3 things that you do, then you've got 3 different sections to your site. If each one of those 3 things has 4 variances to it, then you should probably have 4 pages under each one of those 3 sections. Hopefully that makes sense. But landing pages, what you want to make sure of is that calls to action is going to be the most important thing to engage someone into communicating with you. Your website without calls to action is nothing more than an electronic brochure. When you have a call to action, now you've added an interactive piece to it. The problem with calls to action is it should be just 1 per page. You can have the same call to action multiple times on that page. But if you have your pages set up to where it's very specific, like somebody either lands on that page from finding it in a search engine, or they see it from a link on another page on your site and they click on it to be on that page, it's about a specific thing. And you're talking, this is where the avatar comes in, and we all have multiple avatars. There's not just one avatar. I don't think any of us have just one. So that's where segmentation comes down. And here's another thing to this. You don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to kill yourself creating something for everyone. You know, that's something that I get sucked into all the time. I want to help everybody, and it can be to your detriment. So you got to be careful with that. You have to look at your segmentation and figure out where is the most profit. Like if I'm going to cater, if I'm going to be selective, we all only have so much time, right? So we want to spend our time wisely. We want to work with the best people that are going to give us the best experience, and we're going to give them the best experience. So segmentation is really important to the design of your website. You know, I tell people, I say, be careful what you wish for. If you put stuff on your website that you don't really want to do, you're probably going to wind up doing stuff that's not fun. And like for me, if it's not fun, there's no reason to do it, right? You know, there's too many things that we can do that make us happy that we can make plenty of money on. You know, it's, you know, the whole saying, some people say life's too short. Well, I don't see it that way. I see it as life's too long to be miserable. You know, that's the kind of the way I look at it. It's too long. It's like, you know, so, you know, the only way you're going to enjoy your time here is to make sure you're spending it with the right people. So your website is basically the kind of the catch-all for your business. It says what you do. And if you say you do everything and you work with anybody, then that's probably who you're going to attract. If you are very specific about who you work with and somebody comes on and they say, oh yeah, that's not me, and that's not the person you want to work with, and that it kind of repels them. And it's doing its job. It's almost like having a gatekeeper. If you guys have ever had a really good receptionist or secretary, they know who you want to talk to, and they know who you don't want to talk to, and they won't put them through. So a website should do that for you. It should like filter, it should separate the herd. And segmentation is it's the core of how to do that. The core for you to figure out is to do segmentation in the very beginning. Like look at all of your opportunity. Look at your markets. Everybody has markets. The markets are segmented. I don't care how, you know, what market you're in. There's always segments to a market. Now, each one of these segments is going to represent an avatar. Even though they might be slightly different, they're still different avatars. They speak a different language. Different things are important to them. Even men and women. I mean, just as simple as that. Like a man and a woman wanting to buy a house. There's very different things that they want to hear, you know? And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's the same thing. Men and women speak different languages. People that have spent a ton of money and gone through school and are highly educated, they speak a different language. Different things are important to them. You know, this is what a good salesperson will do, is observe. You know, if he sits down in your office and he sees a bunch of degrees behind you on the wall, he's going to know that's important to you. You think he might change his approach? He might change his languaging. He might change his words. He might pick his words a little differently. And it's because he's a good salesperson that he does that. So your website's the same thing. You want to have different pages for your different avatars, but don't try and please everybody. Go back to your segmentation, figure out who's the most profitable segment and focus on them. When you get really successful at getting your ideal customer and you start to get busy, and life should be pretty good at that point because you're dealing with the right people. They're bringing you a better profit margin. and they're a pleasure to work with, then you can decide if you want to work with other people, if you want to go down the ladder from there. And probably you're going to say, no, I'm good. You're probably going to say, no, I am perfectly good where I'm at. I only want to go up from here, not down. And that again is back to the website of the pages that you create for the website. Now, in further answer to your question, Woody, you've got all this cool stuff, and I get it. We all do. We all have a bunch of cool stuff that we want to get across, and you've got to stream it. If somebody lands on your page and they see all this stuff, it starts to look like a circus. And what they say is the confused mind doesn't buy. And even if you're trying to get somebody to download something for free, it's a sale. I don't care how you slice it, it's still a sale. You're trying to get them to take an action. That's a sale, even if no money is transacted. What it is, it's you're offering them something, and they're basically going to give something up for it. You know, even if it's not dollars, they're going to give up their email address. So people are going to have to decide, do I want that? Is the value worth it? It's a sale. No matter how you slice it, it's a sale. And one sale leads to another. So even if it's a free sale, that is moving you in the right direction to start collecting money. So make your offers really specific, have them big idea oriented. Like, let's say you have a particular segment, like, and I'll use you, Woody, just because you asked the question. So you're in real estate, and your markets basically are buyers, sellers, investors, and there's education involved in all three of those. So there's an educational component to this. So in the buyer's market, again, you've got different segments in there. Like, do you want to sell high-end real estate, which I think you do. So that's a segment. You want to sell in a particular city. So that, again, that's a segment. You're getting it segmented down to, I want to work with people in Brentwood that are looking to buy a $5 million house. So that's who I want. So if that's the case, then you don't need to make a bunch of landing pages for a bunch of other stuff. You need to be specific to that. You want to attract that right buyer for that particular type of house. And that way you look like a specialist. When they land on your page, they're like, oh, wow, this guy, he only focuses on this neighborhood I want to be in. This guy knows something about this. All the rest of them I went to, they just, you know, they've got all this inventory. They're going to push who knows what on me. That's not what I want. They will resonate with you because of that. Now, you might have another neighborhood, but you might have another page for that. So somebody that lands over there, they would feel right at home. The closer, the more you can segment that out and categorize who your avatars are, the more successful you'll be with converting. And if somebody, like, and I'll use this as a perfect example of the free thing. Let's say you had a list of houses that were not on the market yet. These were, I believe, what they call pocket listings. They haven't been publicly available yet. And you have them for Brentwood. And you've got a buyer that wants to be in Brentwood. And you've got this free list of these houses that are not available on the MLS. How much value is there in that with that particular person wanting to get access to that? That's a pretty easy sale. Once they've opted in and you give them the first free thing, now you can bring them one at a time. You can step them through giving them more and more free value, because you said you got all this free stuff. So stream it out to them. You kind of lay it out as a game plan. And all of this, regardless, this goes back to the generic part of this conversation, is this works in any industry, but the key behind it, the key behind any of this when you're doing it online is what worked in the real world. If you've got a process that you used in the real world and it worked, then you want to replicate that in the online space because it will work over here too. If you create a strategy or a system or something for the online space that would not work in the real world, it's not going to work over here either. I can almost guarantee it. Stuff doesn't magically work when you jump the fence. Online is just a digital representation of offline. So it's not like, nothing changes. When you go online, people don't all of a sudden think differently. They don't act differently. They're the same people. It's just a different form of communication. It's a different media. That's it. So if you've worked with people in the real world, you know who they are, you know which ones you like, you know what attracts them, you know what repels the rest. So you want to take that information, you want to take that knowledge, and you want to turn that into your website. You want to use that on your landing pages. You want to digitize what worked in the real world. If you do that, I can almost guarantee it's going to work. If it doesn't work, then you probably just didn't quite digitize it completely. You missed something. Maybe you missed a
What
step.
do you mean by digitize?
What I mean by digitize is you've got to convert it into electronic format. Like, for instance, if you were having a conversation with somebody in a bar and you found out, hey, they want to buy a house in Brentwood, and you talk to them, you say, hey, if you're interested in a house in Brentwood, I've got pocket listings. I have a list of these houses that are going to be soon on the market that you could have first access to. You could put an offer in before anyone else gets access, and you could potentially grab one of these and get it before anyone else has access to it. If you'd like, I can send this to you. I have it in my office. I'll mail it to you. And basically, they're going to give you their address because they want it, right? They would do that all day long. Or they'd drive back to your office to get it in their hand. They want it. They're leaning in, right? So how do you digitize that? You turn it into a PDF. Instead of something you physically hand to them, now it's a PDF. And instead of their physical address, you're asking for their email address so I can get this to you. That's what I mean by digitizing. You're taking whatever it was that you did in the real world and you're just converting it into electronic format. So to send something, it's email. If it's a printed document, now it's a PDF. If it's a conversation, or let's say it's a presentation. Let's say you're going to do a presentation. That's a webinar. So there's digital assets that line up perfectly with all the stuff that we've always done in the real world. Like, let's say feeling. Let's say you're in a presentation. You're creating a sales presentation, and this is the part where the guy on the car lot is going to want to put you behind the wheel. He's going to want you to drive the car, right? How the hell do we digitize that, right? Well, you can. You digitize that by three-dimensionalizing the benefits. And I've got a lot of I've talked about this many times. I've got lessons on this of how to digitize that. It's three-dimensionalizing of benefits. And it's said you basically take whatever the benefit is. Like the benefit of you driving the car is so you can feel it. You can really, experience it. So three-dimensionalizing does that. It allows you to experience it in a three-dimensional way. It's the closest thing to being able to put somebody behind the wheel of the car. And you say it, basically you're saying it in three different ways so they can hear it, see it, and feel it. And most people say their benefits just one-dimensionally. They just say it. They just say what it is. That's one-dimensional. But if you say the same thing so they can now see it, you can activate their memory banks so they can visualize it. We all see things visually. Even a blind person sees pictures. If a blind person did not see in their mind, they couldn't function. We all see stuff. Like, you all know what I look like. If you close your eyes and I ask you to remember what I look like, you'll be able to see me because you've seen me before. You can reactivate the image. Anything that's passed through your eyeballs has been recorded. It's there. So I use the example of the diet pill, to three-dimensionalize the diet pill so they can take it on a test drive and actually see the results. I use the word remember. I say, for somebody that wants to be smaller, they want to be a smaller dress size or whatever, I say, remember what you used to look like when you fit into a size 8, or remember what you looked like 20 pounds ago. Remember when you'd look in the mirror and they pulled a picture up, just boom, the picture's there. All I have to do is activate it. And now they can see it. So now I've two-dimensionalized the benefit. They've heard it, now they can see it. And now I want them to feel it. So now I have to transport them into the future. I have to activate their imagination so they can now experience it. And imagine is a perfect word for that. Imagine kind of triggers their brain to fantasize. It puts them into that forecasting mode, and you kind of walk them through it. Like when I do the example of the diet pill, I do it for a specific avatar. Like I say, it's the woman going to her 20-year class reunion. She's put on a few extra pounds. She doesn't feel good about that. And she wants to show up at this reunion looking good. So when I activate the final thing so she can feel it, I use imagine. I say imagine, because remember, I just got her to see it. So remember what you look like 20 pounds lighter when you saw yourself in the mirror. So now she sees it. Now I want her to feel it. So I say imagine how you're going to feel when you walk into the reunion and all the heads turn and people are saying how great you look. So now all of a sudden she's heard it, she saw it, and now she felt it. She felt the actual outcome of that. So that's how you do the test drive. That's how you digitize it. There's creative ways to digitize almost anything. Anything that you've seen or heard that worked in the real world, that can all be digitized. And if you don't know how, if you've got a process or something that worked really well for you, in the past or even is working now that really well, and you just don't know how to translate it, let me know. I'll come up with creative ideas and ways that you can put that into electronic format. I haven't seen one yet that we couldn't really, pull across. That worked pretty well. So it's all really good stuff, but that is kind of the key. Like I learned a lot of stuff by observation, and that's one of the things I've observed since the very beginning of all of this. The very beginning of the internet was the people that were really successful. They were successful online because they were successful in the real world, and they figured out how to translate it. And the cool thing about online that doesn't necessarily exist in the real world, it kind of does, but not as easily, is the way that you can replicate yourself, the way that you can truly scale and leverage and reach people. Like in the real world, if you're really good at stage, let's say you're really good selling from stage, you know how hard it is to get on a stage. You know how much effort it takes to get on stage. You've got to travel, you've got to plan, you've got to prepare, and you've got one shot. And when it's done, it's done. That's it. You got what you got, and there's no more. You might get invited to another stage, sure. Might make that part easier, but you don't get more sales generally after you leave that stage. Sometimes maybe, but for the most part, it's over. It's over when it's over. Now, if you take that same thing and you digitize it into a webinar, how easy is it to broadcast it out 24/7 and leverage? If you're really good on stage, you'll be really good on a webinar because it's the same thing. In fact, most people, when they're on stage, they get recorded, but they don't use the recordings. They've already digitized their magnificent performance. They don't use it. It's like you've already got it. Leverage it. Put it out 24/7 on the internet for people to experience that. That way your sales can continue to come in day after day, minute after minute. You know, there's nothing that has, I mean, the internet was this incredible tool for leverage. And if you figure out how to use it and leverage it, you can multiply your success like nothing else in history. There's never been anything like this. I mean, the world that we live in, it's so easy to make a living online if you knew how to do something in the real world. And now you know how to replicate it. Like I gotta tell you guys, I am lazy as all get up. So if there's ever something, I'm going to figure out an easy way. And I am just so grateful for the internet, because before this, back in the 80s, I actually had to work. I never worked for anyone. I always worked for myself, but I had to physically do shit to get paid. And now I have leveraged, I've got training, I've got all kinds of things that help people without my interaction. Yeah, I'm on the weekly call here with you guys every week for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. I do this because I like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be here. I can assure you of that. I actually like doing this. But all the stuff in my business and all that I didn't like to do, it's not part of my business anymore. I only do the stuff that I like. I only do the stuff that I can replicate. Like, I love doing webinars. I like going out and finding influencers that have my audience. This is back to my laziness. Yeah, I could run ads. I could do all that stuff, but that's like work. That to me is like a job. And I just say yuck to that. That would require me to physically interact and do a bunch of stuff I don't want to do. The easy way, this is what I found, the easy way is to find a person that has done that. Find a person that spent a bunch of money advertising, created a huge audience. And it happens to be the audience they created is my ideal avatar. So I will connect with them. And I'm not talking about somebody that does the exact same thing as I do, because that, they're not going to promote you if you compete with them. You have to do something that enhances them, or enhances, what their clientele is purchasing or buying. So those are the type of people that I look for. I look for those influencers that have created an audience of my ideal customers. And what I do is I'm going to enhance the influencer. It's going to enhance his view of these people. When he brings me to them, they're going to thank him for it. That guy can promote me out to his list that he built. He did all the blood, sweat, and tears to build that list. He's going to promote me out to his list. I'm going to show up and I'm going to give his people a phenomenal experience. I'm going to give them a lot of education. I'm going to give. I'm going to give them a lot of stuff that they could go out and do whatever I'm teaching them how to do. They could go out and do it on their own. I give them 100%. And then I'll make an offer to make that easier for them with a piece of software or a service that my team can provide and take it off their plate. And that offer will convert very well. I will pay him handsomely, through an affiliate program. He'll make a commission off anything I sell. And I get lifetime customers. Every customer I bring in is they have a lifetime value to me. And it probably won't go away. The stuff that I provide and the stuff that I offer, the people I connect with, they're going to need it forever. It's not like my value will ever vanish. It will never dissipate. It will just keep getting more and more and more, because I've made it like my primary job is to figure out what you guys need and go out and find it for you and bring it to you and make it easy. That's what I do. That value will never go away. I'm always going to see the road ahead, so I will be able to bring that and lay it in front of you without you ever having to lift a finger. I'll say, hey, here's the next thing you'll be able to take advantage of. Like when the internet first came out, the first thing people needed was websites. The websites was the first problem I solved for business owners, was creating their websites for them. The next problem was the websites weren't getting seen. So that was search engine optimization. So that was the next thing I offered. After the search engine optimization, now they had a website and they had traffic and they had visitors, but they didn't have any way to do anything with them. They weren't building mailing lists. So I brought them autoresponders. I said, here's what you need. You need to start collecting a mailing list. Here's what you need. After they had a mailing list, now you need to start communicating with the list. You need to start sending emails. So it was like every step of the way, I was there to figure out what was next. And those customers that started with me back in like 1995, the majority of them are still with me. Most of the ones that are not are on the wrong side of the grass. Unfortunately, people pass away. And, would you like that one? That's what on the wrong side of the grass means.
What are you going to do, Johnny? What are you going to do?
But it was funny, about 10 years ago, I brought in a salesperson and I thought, yeah, let me try an in-house salesperson, because I never really liked doing sales. It was not one of the things that I liked. So I brought somebody in, and the first thing they said was, okay, well, the easiest way to make sales is to look at your past customers. And I'm like, okay. So we pulled up my customer list. We're going down my customer list, and I had segregated the list from current customers and past customers. And I swear everyone, as we're going down this list, she said, okay, what about this one? And I looked and I'm like, oh no, he passed away. Oh no, he died in a diving accident. Oh no. It was like, if they weren't a live customer, they were dead. I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or what. It's like, I don't know. That's why they started calling me the Godfather. They refer to me, if you talk to any of the guys in the SEO world, they call me the Godfather of SEO. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if that's really a good picture I want painted of myself. but anyway, that's the thing. That's the way I look when I'm looking for customers, ideal customers. I'm looking for a lifetime customer. I'm looking for people that I can help for the rest of their life. And that's what I've always done. I've always been like, I've got my eyes peeled on what's coming, what's ahead, what's good. And that's the only stuff I really push and talk about. If it's not, I just kind of let it go. There's a bunch of different things. Like a lot of the people that follow me for SEO, there's tools that come out on a weekly basis, almost on a daily basis rather. And a lot of times I have a certain budget, like all of the people, all of you guys that are paying the $30 a month to be on this call, a portion of that budget goes into me purchasing tools to find out if there's anything good that you should know about. It saves you from buying all that crap. Because I got to tell you, it's about 1 in 100 that's any good. and typically when I find the one, I will buy the reseller rights for it so I can give it away to all of you guys for free. If I can do that, I always do it. So again, it's just, that's the way I provide value. So you want to position yourself. You want to think about, for you, how could you do that? What is it that you can do for your people to provide value forever? Because the worst thing in business is a one-time sale. You know, that's like you're gonna be on a rat wheel for the rest of your life, and there's no way to stop. If you stop, you're done. You know, that's like the equivalent in the real world of a day job. If you don't show up at the day job, you don't get paid. That's, you know, there's no way to stop that. You know, the whole days of the retirement era, they're gone. You know, there's not big companies that take care of you anymore. You know, like our parents, they didn't have that to worry about. They worked for companies that they worked for 30 years and they retired and the company paid them for the rest of their life. Well, we don't have that. You know, that's kind of a thing of the past. So we're now in a new world where if we don't work, we don't make income. So that was, you know, that was where the internet really changed things for me. That was the first time ever. I've been in business, you know, doing stuff since I was a kid. But that was the first time I ever found a way to acquire customers to get paid for life. And think about that. Every customer that you add in, everyone you add on gives yourself an annual income boost. That's the way I look at it. Like I sell a lot of stuff for, you know, $20 a month or $30 a month or whatever. And I get people saying I'm crazy. I get people saying, you know, why would you sell something that cheap? And I'm like, I don't look at it that way. I get excited about a $20 customer because it's $20 a month. You know, when I sell a piece of software and it's a recurring income, I don't look at it as $20 a month or like my the people that come into this call, they're paying $29.97 a month or $29.95, whatever, $30 a month. It's nothing. But I look at it as it's a $360 a year annual raise that I just gave myself. That's why I am so generous with the affiliate commissions to, you know, like generally somebody to get in here, they have to buy one of my courses at least $497 to even get access to be in this call, even to get access to be in this ongoing thing. That's typically how people have got into here in the past. And with the affiliate part of that, I would be willing to give the affiliate the lion's share of the $497 because I didn't care about that. I didn't care about the upfront sale. I wanted the people for life. That's what I was looking for. So it incentivizes the heck out of people to promote me. You know, I have created a world where people get paid very well to promote me. That's one of the things that has been like the core foundation of how successful I've been over all these years, is how generous I've been with the referrals. So, you know, if you can think along those lines, I know sometimes it's hard because we got to make money and we don't have any way, you know, to do it. So we've got to get as much as we can up front. Luckily, I'm not in that position. You know, luckily I've got everything covered, so I can do that. I can be very generous up front. But thinking about it, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I am now. if I were, if I were greedy and thought, oh no, this course I made, it's worth $497 and I need to get $497 for it, so I'll give you 10% to promote me. No one would have promoted me. They wouldn't have cared, but when I tell them, hey, I'll give you 75%, they're like, really? Wow, I'll promote that. So all of a sudden now I've got people that are advocates for me because I'm paying them to do it. And the way I look at it, if I would have given them 10% and no one promoted me, how much would I have made? Yeah, exactly. I would have made squat. If I give them, 75%, how much have I made? I made a lot more than zero, right? So it's just a different way to look at things. So in business, like in my particular business, when we go back to the profitable segmentation, when I'm looking to create products, I'm looking to create products that I create once that will last a lifetime. That way, my initial investment is time to create the product, right? But my investment's going to last forever because that product can keep selling without any more of my interaction. All I need to do is find advocates, pay them well, and make free money. That's what, if you can start thinking in those terms, a lot of people ask me, how did you get here? What did you do? How did you get where you are? That's the way I did it. That was the, kind of the core philosophy from the beginning. And where I got that, I wasn't always like that. When I first started in SEO, I had big commercial customers. And, I wouldn't take on a project that was paying less than $10,000 a month. That was like my barrier to entry for somebody to get me and get online with me doing their work. It was $10,000 a month minimum. And I got plenty of them. I never did any of the work myself. I had a team, I trained a team to do all the work. So it wasn't a problem. It was scalable. But when I was talking to a guy at the time, I didn't have a bunch of clients. I had a handful of clients, and I was feeling like I was just sitting pretty. I'm like, yeah, I got these people paying me all this money and everything's great. And this guy was asking me questions. He's an older guy, very business minded. He's been in business his whole life. And he said, you think you're secure? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm really secure. And he says, well, you're not. He said, all of your income, all of your security is based on only a few people. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, I see that. And he said, when you think about security, you want to think about your customers as appendages. And I'm like, okay, how do I see that? And I'm like, unpack that for me. So he's like, well, if you had 10 customers, that would be like you have 10 appendages here. You got 10 fingers. He said, so if you've got 10 of them and you lose one, it's going to hurt, right? You lose a finger, it's going to hurt. There is no way around that. You're going to have some serious pain for a short time, and then you're going to get over it. When you wake up tomorrow, yeah, it'll still hurt a little bit, but you didn't die, and you can still function pretty well without a finger. But he said, what if you only had 2? That's like an arm or a leg. So what happens if you lose an arm or a leg? He said, you're not going to be the same. He said, it's not just going to hurt. You're going to wake up tomorrow and life is different. It's never going to be the same. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. And he said, what if you only have 1? That's like your head. What happens if you lose your head? You're done. And he said, now on the other hand, what about the hairs on your head? Which I still have a fair amount. So I had more then, but He goes, what if it's like the hair on your head? What if you lose one? You don't even feel it, right? That's where my $30 came that's where that rose to the surface. I'm like, all right, I want a shitload of people giving me $20 a month with hosting. I want a shitload of people giving me $30 a month for mentoring. What do you think people charge for this type of call, this type of mentoring, what I do? They charge thousands of dollars a month. They charge, 10 grand, 20 grand for a mastermind to get access to the stuff I give you guys on this, $30 a month call. Doesn't matter to me because it's like the hairs on my head. If one of you decide all of a sudden you've got everything I have to offer and you decide to move on, it's like I lost a hair on my head. Another one grows back tomorrow. And I don't mean to say that you guys aren't important to me, because you are all very important to me. Like I said, I do this because I like it. I like to help you. I love it when I can make you guys successful. So that's why I do it. But the concept, I just want you guys to understand the concept of getting a lot of people to pay a little bit on an ongoing basis. It will change your life. The first time, I'll give you an example of the first time I actually got to feel that. Talk about the hear it, see it, feel it. Well, the first time I actually got to feel that was 2 years into me building websites. The reason I was building websites wasn't to get paid for the website itself. The reason I built the websites was to get the hosting. I was building about 3 sites a week to acquire the hosting. The hosting goes on forever, right? The website's a one-shot deal. Remember, I say I don't do one-shot deals. I'll do a one-shot deal if it's to acquire a lifetime customer. That's the only reason I built websites. So anyway, for the first couple of years, I busted my butt. I worked my ass off to build this business. And it was in building websites. A lot of them I built for free. Again, I didn't care about the one-shot deal. I was willing to build a site for free for somebody back then just to acquire them as a customer. So 2 years down the road, I had an epiphany. I was sitting at my desk and I was looking at my stats. I was looking at my income and I was looking at just kind of a general overview of everything. And I was like, wow, it came to me that there is enough money coming in on hosting that I don't have to work anymore. It's like, if I stop right now, all my bills would be covered. A very good lifestyle would be covered. And I could just go have fun. And it doesn't matter anymore if I'm sitting behind my desk. And when I had that epiphany, I turned around and Barb walked in the room and I said, what are we doing next week? And she said, well, nothing. And I'm like, well, we're going to go on a cruise. And she was like, a cruise? She's like, isn't that expensive? And I'm like, no. I'm like, look at this. This is an 11-day cruise. And it was like $600 a person. It was some bargain basement deal because it was last minute and they were trying to fill it up. And I'm like, we can't afford to not do this because you can't feed me for that for a week. So I said, we're going to lose money if we don't go on this cruise. and I told her, I said, we're going to make the same amount of money if we're cruising as if we're sitting here. Only difference is you don't have to feed me. So that year, we spent like over 5 weeks that year on cruise ships. We went on cruise after cruise after cruise. And we're like, wow, now this is the way to do it. You know, we actually got sick of cruises for a while, but we still, even to this day, we still, you know, aside from the pandemic thing, we still go on a cruise almost every year. You know, like last year we did our 30th wedding anniversary. We cruised Tahiti. I mean, you guys that were on my Facebook, you probably saw the photos. It was phenomenal. You know, it was absolutely awesome. But again, when I'm doing that, I'm not worried about income. It's all coming in. It's all set because of the way I structured my business. It's lifetime value of a customer. It's not a one-shot deal. If you guys are building a business around a one-shot deal, all you're doing is creating a job for yourself. That's it. It's not meant, business isn't meant to be like that. You know, business owners, you go in business for freedom. Freedom isn't one-shot deals. You know, you've got to have upsells, and you can get creative with that. Let's say you do something that it is a one-shot deal and that's it. All you have to do is just get creative. I'll give you a perfect example of that. One of my early on clients, she made maternity dresses, and she came to me to help her. You know, that was her thing. She made these maternity dresses, and I'm like, oh my God, this is somebody, their customer lasts 3 months, and then they got to hunt for a new one. You know, that's a pretty crappy deal. And I'm like, how am I going to fix this? By the time we spend money to advertise, to acquire a customer, and they got a 3-month window, I'm like, that's going to be rough. And I thought about it, and I came back to her and I said, here's the deal. We don't have to worry about the cost of the dress. We can give it away. You don't need to make any profit on the dress. And she kind of freaked out. She's like, what do you mean? I need to make money. I need to pay my bills. I need to feed my kids. And I'm like, wait for it. There's a much bigger picture here. I said, the maternity dress is only the beginning. I said, the maternity dress is kind of like your opt-in. They're just opting in. It's your lead magnet. Once you get them into your funnel, I know what they're going to need for the next 18 years. Or actually, I don't know personally, but you're going to know. And if you don't, you're going to do a little research and you're going to figure it out. You're going to go buy the book, you know, What to Expect When You're Expecting. And, you know, there's all kinds of ways to do research to figure out, you know, what an expectant mother would need next. You know, when that baby's born, the maternity dress is gone, but she's got a whole new problem. When that kid comes out, she's got things she did not expect to ever happen. And if you're there every step of the way to be her advocate and walk her through and tell her what's coming and prepare her for it and provide all the products and services she's going to need for the next 18 years, and you don't have to provide any of them. All you have to do is make the referrals and get the affiliate commission. So with an 18-year funnel, how much money could she now make versus how much she would have made on selling that dress? A one-shot deal, she would have made a few bucks and would have had to work the rest of her life very hard to do it. Versus now, she no longer makes the dresses. She just farms them out. She basically gives them away just like I told her to, just to get the lead. And then she just pipes them into her 18-year funnel. And she's found out her funnel goes more than 18 years. It goes on. It includes weddings and, you know, funerals and you name it. She is basically there just like I am. I'm there lifetime for everyone, figuring out what you need next. So there's an example. If the thing that you do is a one-shot deal, you just get a little creative, I guarantee you, look at the lesson in the ACT program called the timeline. One thing about the timeline, that there's one, there's a new one right there. He's going to need all kinds of stuff, or she's going to need all kinds of stuff. But look at the lesson called timeline. The timeline states that a prospect is on a given path. They are where they are, and none of us are ever where we want to be. Even if we get there, we're no longer where we want to be. Like, let's say your timeline is you want to make $1 million. You know, you've started a business and your timeline is I want to make $1 million. So where you are is you're on the beginning of the timeline. Maybe you haven't even made your first dollar. But on the end of the timeline, where you see the end of your journey is that $1 million mark in your business. Well, what happens when you get there? Do you think the timeline just ends? It starts over. So whatever it is, like with the kid, when the kid's teething, that's the beginning of the timeline. You got a problem. You know, this kid's not happy. And when the kid's not happy, the rest of the house isn't happy. So the timeline is, let's get through the teething. Let's make the kid happy. There's stuff that you can do and stuff that you can buy to do that. And you make a few bucks on it, you know, and then the timeline ends. And what happens there is that just starts a whole new timeline. What's next? So what you need to do is you need to figure out with the timeline, with your current timeline, whatever it is that you provide, when you fulfill, somebody buys your product or your service and you fulfill, you've moved them to the end of the timeline. Hopefully you got them where they wanted to go. If you didn't, you might want to rethink that. But now the timeline starts over. So if you've provided something like Woody, for instance, you sell a house, right? The person bought the house, they got the keys, they're happy as could be, right? Timeline's over, right? What's their next timeline? What are they going to need? They might need a mover. They might need a mover now to move all their stuff in. They might need a painter. They might need, you know, all this different stuff. You know, eventually they're probably going to want to, you know, a pool or a spa or whatever. So you make the connections with all those people after the fact, and now you've got referral sources. So for whatever they need, you can provide it for them. You can make their life easy. They trust you. They bought a house from you, for Christ's sake. They're going to have a fair amount of trust in you at that point, right? So anything you refer, they're going to take as gospel more than likely. As long as they got a good experience out of the first purchase, as long as you did your job and you fulfilled and you made them happy, they're going to associate you with that. So the next thing that they want, they're going to trust that you can repeat that process for them. So, and it's anything, all of you guys, it's the same thing. People are never happy with whatever they have. All of us, it's just human nature. Wherever we are, we always want something different, you know? And as soon as we get it, we want something different after that. And that's just, it's from when we were born to the day we die. It's human nature. So that timeline is a critical piece of marketing. Your marketing doesn't end when your product ends. Your marketing only ends when your prospect's on the other side of the grass. That's the best way I can put it, you know? So whatever they need, you just need to figure it out. And you don't have to kill yourself doing all the stuff you don't want to do. Just find people that want to do that. There's a lot of people in business that do good stuff. They're not good marketers, and they're willing to pay for sales. Anybody in business understands the value of paying for sales, or they probably won't be in business very long. You know, whether you have salespeople and you're paying sales commissions, or you're doing advertising and you're paying ad fees, people in business that are successful are used to paying for it. They're used to paying for customers. If they're not used to and willing to pay for customers, then they're probably not going to be very successful. You know, I mean, there's always anomalies, but just in general, that's what I've seen throughout my entire lifetime. The people that are most successful are willing to pay to scale it. So find those people that are willing to pay you to scale their business, and just connect the dots. Every one of us, I don't care what you do, I don't care what your niche is, I don't care what your business is, every one of the people that is your customers need other stuff. When they trust you and you do a good job for them, you have the ability to become that connector to bring them all that other stuff, and you can literally tenfold the income from other people's stuff. If I look at my income right now, the things that I'm doing is the smallest amount of my income. Like, I refer Kartra. I teach people how to use Kartra. Kartra gives me 40% of anyone I bring into their system. So you guys are paying me $30 a month for mentoring, support, all of the stuff I do for you guys. And I think it's a total bargain. Everyone that I've talked to says it is an absolute bargain. There's nothing like it they've ever seen. But here's the thing. For every one of you that I sign up on Kartra, I'm making $40 a month. More than I make off of what I'm actually doing. And when I set you up on Kartra and you run your business on it, are you ever going to want to leave it? It's going to run your business. It's going to be the backbone of your business. You know, if I build you a website that works and the hosting, are you ever going to want to give the hosting up? It's the foundation of your business. You know, you might give up the calls or whatever, but are you ever going to give that stuff up? See where you want to be connected in the lifetime value of your customers. Don't just rely on what you do for them. That'll be the kiss of death. You won't be very secure. So if I could give you any advice at all today, that would be it. You know, become the lifeline in your customers so you can retain them for life. Even if they're not paying you directly, you're getting paid off of that relationship. They all need all kinds of stuff. And all you got to do is find the people that provide that stuff, create relationships with them. You'll make them very happy because you're giving them referrals. They're going to make you very happy because they're going to pay you for them. You know, that people aren't likely to stop paying you when you continue to give them business. You know, and if they do, just find someone else. You are the most important piece in the puzzle. That's where you want to be. You want to become the most important piece. You want to be the people that they're taking out to lunch to make sure you keep sending them the customers. You know, when you get into that position, you'll know you have a power position. You know you matter. So, all right. Well, that was a hell of an answer, wasn't it, Woody? Hopefully that
awesome.
Hopefully that did the trick.
Thank you, John. I'm unmuted now.
There you go. I always give it my all. You might be more than you want, but all right. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions out of any of that, or anything else? Any other stuff?
John, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
this is one of my dearest friend's little babies, so I brought her over because you were talking about the babies.
yeah, absolutely. They are going to inherit the world.
Yeah, she's a bright light.
Yeah.
So, what do we do? Like I've been trying to think of, this talk was perfect for me because I've been trying to figure out how do I create the ongoing customer, you know, being an artist, and I've been doing this class. Everything you said was fantastic, and my creativity course is going great. I teach it on Saturday mornings, and you know, Jen and I built the plane as we were flying, so we're making all the great classic mistakes, like not having the next step to offer, because people are like, 5 weeks, we want more, and we're like, and I spoke to Jennifer last night, and I'm like, oh my. I spoke to Jen last night, and I was like, and I said to her, what you have taught in the past, begin from the end, and that we should be ready to offer more. But I was thinking about trying to offer people like paint with me once a month, so that I could get, you know, like a program where they could do something like paint night once a week, once a month, however, and things like that. But like for Woody or anybody else, like with him selling a house, like for me, I get a lot of one-time commissions, like this big canvas back here is waiting to be something for somebody. And then I'm like, I'm trying to rack my brain on how to create the ongoing passive income. And I listen to you.
Keep this in mind. You don't have to fulfill on that stuff. You know, like Woody, you know, he'll sell the house. That's great. He doesn't have to be the mover. He doesn't have to be the carpet cleaner. He just has to figure out what they're going to need next and connect the dots. So don't think that you have to be the next offer. You just have to figure out, and that's all based on timeline. Like it's pretty easy when you look at a timeline and you take somebody on a journey for where they want to go. You can look at, okay, now I put them there. What are they going to want next? What's the next thing that they're going to need? You know, like I used an example of the first thing they need is a website, and then they need traffic, and then they need a mailing list. And, you know, it's like, what is the next thing? Even if you don't do that stuff, you know, what do you do? And obviously offer that first, but think way outside the box for not only what you offer, but what are they going to need? How easy is it for you to go out and do a little bit of research for that one person and figure out, okay, well, you know, if the baby's teething, what do I need to know? Who is the person that solves that problem? Just go out and find them for that one person. And now you've got a plug-in for your funnel. You did a little bit of work, a little bit of research on the front end to figure it out, but now you can get paid forever for everyone that comes through your funnel. You now have that piece in place. So it's just a matter of somebody's going to do the work. Like if the person has to do the work themselves to figure it out, they've done the work, it benefited them, and they go on. But if they didn't have to do the work and they don't have to pay any more for the solution's still the same, you just did the work, do you think they would take the easy road and just have you? People love to be told what to do. You know, I know a lot of times you'll say, yeah, I don't want to be told what to do, but we all want to be told what to do because it makes things easier for us. Like if you know, like let's say I wake up and I've got a flat tire and I'm like, oh shit, you know, what do I do? You know, and then if you have somebody there that's already been through it, they're like, oh, just call AAA. They'll come out and pump it up for you, and then you can drive it to here. They just tell you what to do, right? So you don't have to think about it. It just makes life easy. You know, like this is a perfect example. I have a friend of mine, he just got out of the hospital. This was last Sunday. He just got out of the hospital. And he was freaking out because he was so weak and he had bags that he had to carry into his place. And I said, it's no problem. You have this oxygen tank. There's a little hook on it right here. You just hook the bags on it and then you don't have to carry them. You just pull the thing. It's the same weight as you were pulling before. And he's like, oh my God. He goes, you made that so easy for me. You know, I didn't get paid for it, but it was like, I made it easy for him. Find the stuff that makes it easy for them and just tell them what to do. You know, It's a matter of timeline, and it doesn't matter, again, it doesn't matter what we sell or what we do. Everybody needs all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And again, we don't have to do it. We just have to connect the dots. The more dots you can connect throughout your life, the more money you'll make effortlessly. So like I said, like when I look at my income comes from a multitude of sources. Most of them are not stuff I even do. It's just referrals that I've made. You know, back in the, when online marketing was first starting, one of the biggest things was people would create a PDF that basically told somebody what to do or how to do something. And then at the end, it gave them a link. It was an affiliate link to get the thing, whatever it was that they needed. And that was the way most of the internet marketers got started. You know, like Russell Brunson, you know, he is like on top of the world right now. Do you know what his first product was? It was how to build a freaking potato gun.
Potato gun, yeah.
It was an ebook. He was in college, and the craze was potato guns, and nobody knew how to build them. So he wrote up a PDF, and he showed them where to get all the stuff, and he made affiliate commissions off of people buying the stuff to build a potato gun. You know, he's taken that to an extreme now. The guy is making, you know, literally millions of dollars a month. That's how he got started, by fulfilling a timeline. And he didn't even do the stuff, you know, he just made the referral for it. So, I mean, you know, there's examples all around us. Just a matter of looking at what's working, what works in the real world, digitize it. All comes back to that. So if any of you guys need help with that, don't be afraid to use this call for your own purposes. Like there's been many times where I have used this call to like go in and show somebody how to set up their Kartra account or whatever it is that you need, because it
That'd be me.
benefits the group. You know? And Linda, I've been meaning to get back to you. I've been out of town.
I know you have been.
I know you've been having trouble with my calendar.
Yeah, I can't get into your calendar and book that time, which is what I wanted to do.
And there is 3 people just like you that I cannot figure out what it is. I've even tried doing it myself using your address, and it still doesn't come through. And I'm like, I've checked, you're not on blacklists. I just don't know, but it tells me.
Here's a concept. We're talking to each other. What's your calendar look like?
Yeah. I can actually fit you in this afternoon if you want.
What time this afternoon?
Let me look here.
You might
The
as well
later the
look
better.
too, John, because I need you this afternoon too.
I've got 4 o'clock open. I've got from 4 to 5 open.
I'll take it.
All right. Cool.
Can I have the next slot, whatever you've got?
Yeah.
Hey, Libby.
Hey, how are you, Linda?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Sure.
How long are we going to need, Linda? Probably a half hour or so?
Yeah, half hour.
Okay. How about 4:30, Libby?
I can do it. I
Perfect.
can do it. Yes.
So do we just come back to this same bat channel, Batman?
Yep. That'll do it.
Same bat channel. I like it.
That'll do
All right,
it.
perfect.
Yep.
So could you just spend a minute with me, John? You just sparked a really fabulous idea, and all I'd want to do is just like map it out, because I think I know step by step by step by step by step by step by step.
Okay.
So if I were to create a membership site, and the membership site would be a simple $50 a month, who would come to it? It would be investors looking to get into real estate investing, investors that are doing investing, investors that are investing anywhere from an investment to $400,000, say, to $5 million. That's $5 million is a sweet spot. So,
Yeah.
so I would talk about everything that they needed. So if I were to map this out in my membership site, and yours is pretty sophisticated, so if you're just getting started, what, you know, what would you map into, you know, a membership site at a minimum so that you get them coming and, or is it the value that you're creating is by you being live? Because I think your value is tremendous, and you being live gives us morsels that we never even thought about doing. And if I'm just like most of the other people on this call, we don't go to the site and look at all the magic that you've put there until we really need something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So my membership site, you know, you say it's sophisticated, but it's really not. It's just a holding place to hold all the lessons I've created for the ACT program. And if you don't have that, all it is it's basically just a place to hold information, whatever information. Like for you, it might be the opportunities. Like, you know, here's opportunities, and you might have them in different segments for people that are interested in, you know, apartment buildings, or, you know, whatever. You could classify the different types of investments.
And an affiliate of something like that might be something like, say, the agent, where I get a referral fee. If he was looking, if he was cobbling money together, that referral, so I would just pour him into a Kartra affiliate program where I can track him, because, you know, those agents, Woody, I don't know if you're like, you know, they don't always tell the truth.
Well, here's the thing with the tracking and the affiliate systems. The tracking is done on the end of the sale. So since you're not doing the sale, you have to rely on their tracking system. If they don't have an affiliate deal, it's it's a little harder to keep track of, let's say.
But
So
let's say, for instance, if I got somebody looking at using your example of the investment, and I was raising $50,000 from any particular investor, or 100,000, minimum in would be 100,000, 200,000, 250,000. People that don't have the, you know, the wherewithal to be able to go buy a $5 million asset with $250,000, because it requires 30 or 35% down.
Sure.
So cobbling something like that together in a lesson, I might talk about what is this and why is this. Would that be something that I would just simply record and have a timeline on it?
Yeah, you could record that as a lesson. That could be, you know, part of a lesson plan or something. Now,
Why is this a good idea? Why is this a good investment? That kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Now I know there's a lot more regulation and stuff in the investment world. So as far as like affiliate commissions and things, that might be, you know, you might have to look into that. You definitely,
it's disclosures, as long as I'm disclosing exact. Yeah, so it's tons of disclosures.
Yeah.
And so I would have disclosures, written disclosures. I would have, and in Zoom now has a disclosure. This is good for you, Woody. It has a disclosure that states that you're aware that this is being recorded and that you're advised. So if you're aware that it's being recorded, and I'm giving on the front end, in the middle, and at the back end a disclosure that I'm not your CPA, I'm not giving you legal advice. This is it's a verbal disclosure. It covers us as agents to be able to talk about our investments.
Yeah. The other thing, though, what I was more referring to is the people that you're referring to, them giving you a commission and stuff. They may or may not be able to do that legally.
Oh, they can, because I'm a broker. So yeah.
Okay.
Money all day long.
Okay. So just
I'm taking donations now.
Yeah, that's my disclaimer. Just make sure you know what you're doing for whatever, so you don't get in trouble. But look for, like, and I know in bigger stuff like that, it's not as common for them to have actual official affiliate programs. So it's going to be
so really it's really about membership, creating value, putting the value there, giving the lessons, having a site where do you host all of this? Do you host this on a website, or do you is that something that you? Mine
is all in Kartra. My entire membership site, everything is all in Kartra. The videos are in Kartra, all of that, everything. Yeah.
Well, you and I are going to be talking about that at 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Kartra has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm
It-
really looking to replace the website that I've got, which I've spent a lot of money and hired a lot of people and gotten nothing for it. So I'm
yeah.
very frustrated with it, and I love what Kartra is doing. So we'll have that talk and probably some recommendations for you for. Thank you. I really
Okay.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
there's a couple of things about Kartra that I'm a little disappointed with, but overall, it has been a game changer for my business. And one of the things I'll just tell you guys up front, one of the things that I'm kind of disgusted with it is their calendar system.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. They wanted to add a calendar system, and it was probably before they were actually ready. So it's a rough ride.
It
But
is, and having missed 30 something appointments the first time and then 60 the second, it hurts. So going back and trying to recapture them isn't the same as you only get one chance to make a first impression.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
people can't find you and they think you're flaky,
yeah,
that's a mountain you have to climb that was unnecessary.
yeah.
Would you recommend Calendly instead?
So I'm actually going to go back to the one I was using before, which is Time Trade. Time
Okay.
Trade is, I believe, there's $78 for a year, so it's very inexpensive. And they were awesome. They sync with the Google Calendar, all of that stuff. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to revert back to them. I didn't want to do that, but I can't afford to have people, scheduling appointments and me not getting notified of it. I can't. I can't.
John,
do that.
does Time Trade sync with Kartra, or it's a
Well,
separate?
I won't need it to sync with Kartra. I'll still use Kartra as the opt-in. Like on my website, I have that free 15-minute consultation form. So I'll still use Kartra for that because it's flawless at the opt-ins. It's flawless at almost everything else, except for that calendar is a disaster. So I'll still
Yeah,
use the opt-in.
it
They'll
is.
opt in for the free 15-minute appointment. And then the success page, I will set the success page of that opt-in form to go to the scheduling page on my Time Trade. So they'll go right there, they'll schedule, then I'll get notified of the schedule. It'll be added to my Google Calendar and we'll be all set to go.
Do you have any experience with Calendly at all? I know a lot of people use it.
I have a little bit. It looked to me like it was very similar to Time Trade. I know they have a free version where Time Trade does not have a free version. And I several people I know use the Calendly, both the free and the paid. I think most of them move up to the paid version for whatever reason, but I don't know because I don't know what the free restrictions are.
Got it. Look into it.
So, but I'm sure it's probably very similar.
You said that there were a couple of things in Kartra you weren't satisfied with, and one was the calendar. What else aren't you?
The other one is their self-billing link. Their self-billing link where it asks you for an order number to get access to your account.
Your own account.
I think that is.
I saw your message on that.
Yeah, that is absolutely asinine.
Yeah, John, Woody has an account with Kartra. I didn't even know, I saw that email, but I didn't know how to take action on helping you out with that. Like, so
Well,
maybe.
it doesn't really matter. I got what I wanted out of it. They've responded to it. They get it. And I have a bunch of people sent that through. So they got the message.
Yeah.
And they got back to me. They told me how to get around it, which I instinctively knew, but you have to be using a help desk for it to work. So if you have a help desk installed, which I do, this is why, like, the people that were complaining, Lisa specifically had a big beef about that because she wasn't using the help desk. So if you don't use the help desk and people are making purchases from you, it's basically the self-billing link takes them to a page where they have to put in the order number that they want help with because there's no help desk. If you have a help desk and you log into the help desk, it shows you all of your history, including all of your billing transactions. That's where it truly is self-billing. But it's not the self-billing that they offer. The one they offer is worthless. So it hasn't been a big problem for me because I use their help desk, and that kind of solves the problem. But I couldn't convince Lisa of doing that, so she still has that issue. So that's a couple of things that I've noticed, about Kartra that are just not quite up to speed. They get it. They're working on it. They're always improving the system. So
if the help desk resolves, or not resolves, but gives you a way to handle that, why wouldn't you use the help desk?
There's no reason not to.
Hmm.
That's what I said. It's just there really isn't any reason not to.
Okay.
So, because with the help desk, they go to log into that. If they can't log in, it sends them the password. So it fixes the problem pretty much. So, all right. Anything else here before we wrap up?
I'll schedule with you next week. How's that?
All right. And I think I'm going to have to check. I haven't been in the office the last few days, but I'm going to check on your site and see how that's coming along for you.
That would be great. And really what I have to decide on is what is my entry level offer?
Okay. Yeah. Your first call to action.
Because I got a lot of junk. I shouldn't say junk. A lot of stuff to offer. I have so much to offer. It's just picking one.
Well, like I said, just like for Woody, you can have multiple offers, just put them on multiple pages.
Right.
Yeah, and then I need a tutorial on how to get the Kartra page onto the WordPress page.
Okay, that's a piece of cake. I can do that for you.
Okay.
Can you maybe
nothing
even,
to worry about.
we all need that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
In fact, John, if you could show her next week, if you could just make that an agenda item, show her, because I need that. Alice just said she needs it, which means Woody needs it, which means Libby needs it.
yeah, it's
Thank you, Linda. I concur.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
simple.
Maybe it could be an evergreen. Like whenever you do a Kartra training, and hey, by the way, do you ever label like the mentoring recordings with content? Like, because it would be great to like go, like I've been taking notes on while we go right on my computer, but just when I think, Woody and I were talking yesterday, he's like, remember when John helped me with that? He's like, what? And I said, oh my God, I don't remember. And then you know what I did? I took notes right on one of his pages. So I was like, look at this. I'm brilliant in a forgetful way.
Yeah, if you go to the call archive, I have one of my Filipino outsourcers. He basically watches every call. He watches and he makes notes, and then he puts them in the. They're all on YouTube, so he puts them in the description, all the notes of what went on the call.
Oh, that is brilliant. I had no idea.
It's not a transcription, but it's an outline of what all is included in the call.
Oh my God, where are the call out archives?
No, the outlines on YouTube. Is there some place where you can access the outline?
Yeah, if you go to
I did not know that.
The email that I send out to you guys every week, if you go to the email, there's a link right in the email to the call archive.
Oh.
Yeah, but the outline, the outline that is with each one of these calls, John, is there is the outline then in the archive, or is the outline?
No, the outline is in the description on each video.
Got it. Got it.
So.
The other way to do that, maybe if you save your Zoom calls on in the cloud, they'll give you a transcript.
Yeah, that's true. I could do that too. That's
really easier for your.
Teresa,
it doesn't work very well.
Who gives you a transcript?
The transcription.
If you are Be Connected,
yeah.
and then you have the, I don't know, the upper level of Zoom.
Yeah.
And you put those things in the cloud. Every time you get a transcript of conversation, and they're
What?
darn good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's with like,
I did not know that.
yeah, like I have the enterprise version of Zoom that I got through Be Connected, and it's like $12.99 a month now for the enterprise version through them.
That's awesome.
And it gives you that transcription thing, and it does work really well. I'm so used to doing it the way I do it, I just keep forgetting about that. So I should go back to that and take advantage of that. Last time I did it, I noticed it took like a day or two to get the transcription back. So I don't know if they send them out for that, or I don't know what their process is,
do.
how they do it.
Well, mine come pretty quickly, although I don't do, 2-hour long Zoom calls.
Oh, well, maybe, yeah, it might just render faster or something.
Right.
That is really the bomb diggity right there.
Well,
Yeah,
if
they're
you're not on Be Connected, it's teresacherry.beconnected.com. And I'm under John, so everybody.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I will tell you that Zoom, the enterprise version of Zoom, is awesome.
yeah, it really is.
Particularly, if you're doing tutorials or you want something that can be put into an ebook or whatever, you can take those transcripts, have them, put them into a different format, edit them, and it works really well.
Yeah.
John,
I was going to do that for my webinars, and start doing that, and then take the transcription and give that away as a PDF.
That's my plan.
Yeah. Cool.
so many things. So Woody and I we're in your family tree, John, and with Be Connected, and would be great to talk about how to best set up the profiles, and like even accessing like we also enrolled in the Zoom through Be Connected, the live webinar program. So we have that, like what Teresa's talking about, right, Teresa or John? Right?
Well, when you sign up for Be Connected, you have to purchase the Zoom through.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. So you should be all set then.
Okay. So I
Now,
just
as
so
far
many
as
hearts.
yeah, as far as the profile, that's really important when in Be Connected, that you create your profile and you get that dialed in, because the connection generator, it works on artificial intelligence, and that's all it has to go on is what's in your profile. So you want to make sure that you put in there who you want to connect to, or who you want to be able to find you, what you do, so people can find you and reach out and connect. You also want to put in there's places in there where you can put what you need, like vendors that you're looking for, and then it's going to it basically goes to work to try and connect you. So it's an artificial intelligence that's just like the dating software, just like the dating apps. Like you create a dating profile, and then it looks for, who's compatible. It's the same thing. It's just for business. So you want to make sure that when you set up your profile, that you set it up with the intent of who you want to connect to. So you have to be very intentional on putting in what you do as to who you want to attract, and then putting in what you need as to who you want to be attracted. So it works both ways, And like,
maybe we can talk about that next time, because I was looking at it, and I wanted to get your master brilliant mind on it in terms of the strategy of setting it up, because it's got the matching dating algorithm going on.
Yeah, maybe we could do that too in one of the calls coming up, because
Yeah.
I need to go back and really look at mine and kind of probably rethink it too, because it's not just about who you are, but it's who you want.
Right. And also, in light of what you said on this call about partnering up with people so that you
Mhm.
create a timeline forecasting what your customers may need next.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm thinking for myself, I'm thinking for Woody, for Linda, for all of us, especially if you have a one-time big sale, and then, you know, like how
Yeah.
do we think forward and think about, and then make those JV connections.
Yeah.
I would love to have a
Well,
call with you about this for my business, my art business,
yeah.
or whatever, coaching,
Yeah,
or
like a perfect example of that is, let's say you had a product or service where after you were done with them, they were going to need an accountant. So you could put in there, I'm looking for accountants to refer business to that pay affiliate commissions. So
Brilliant.
if an accountant that was paying affiliate commissions saw that, you think they'd want to connect to you?
Of course they would,
Probably, yeah.
except between now and the 15th.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thought process, is figure out, you know, who it is and what are the words you can put together to bait them. You know, how can you become very attractive? Because it's just like dating. You know, if you want to attract the right date, you better work on it.
Speaking of attracting the right date, I signed up as a reseller on Be Connected, and I signed up I gifted $300 things to 3 different people so they would try it out.
Okay.
And all of them are reporting that they can't log in. Is there some magic formula to logging in? I gave them their ID and I gave them their password, but they can't get logged in. So is it Be Connected dot whatever the name is dot?
Oh, let me look here.
What is the naming convention to get logged in? I'm having trouble too. Clearly, I didn't set up my dating app yet.
Now I know last week they were having some issues, but it's backoffice.beconnected.com.
Back office.
Yeah, that's where you actually log in, is backoffice.beconnected.com.
And then the username and password.
Yeah, it says username or email and password. And then there's also a reset password link right there.
Okay. And because I used my own credit card, I'm using the trusted, valued friendship relationship that they either disconnect or move their own credit card onto Be Connected at the end of the month. So is there any safeguard that I can have unless they don't change their password? I could go in and.
Well, yeah, you could log in and cancel it for them.
As their sponsor.
Well, no, you'd have to log into their account.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Fair enough.
You could do it that way.
so.
Right.
Linda, you bought the reseller? I'm sure, John, you have a reseller. What's the reseller? What was your logic about? I don't understand the whole reselling thing. So,
well, what I
what's the
did,
benefit of that?
just so you know, what I did with that was I offered it to people and I said, I'll just send you a PayPal payment. Like if you show me your receipt, I'll send you the $99 back.
And that's the way I should have done it, but I was on a time crunch, so I told Shanta, I was her 5th person, so
okay.
I signed up, and then I procrastinated and waited till the very last minute in the 11th hour, and 59 minutes, and then I said, okay, well, I've got to do this. I've got to get this signed up, and it was like Saturday or Sunday, and so I just signed up 3 people. But I used my own credit card to do that.
Yeah, there's another. The thing is still open for the qualified founding affiliates too.
And how many people do you have to have for that?
You need 5.
Wow. All right, so I'm at 3.
Yeah, 5 is all it takes to be one of the qualified founding affiliates, and there's a lot of benefit to that.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's no sure thing. I mean, this thing might flop. I don't think it's gonna. I wouldn't have jumped in on it if I thought it was going to. it has a lot of upswing. If this thing takes off, or rather when this thing takes off, being in that qualified founding affiliate spot, I don't know if you get what that does, but all the people down the line, like even right now, nobody can be an affiliate now unless they pay the extra $200. So that's going to dissuade people from becoming affiliates in it, which is good for the qualified founding affiliates, because there's commissions paid on every time a transaction is made. And if there's no qualified founding affiliates in the way, all those commissions roll up to the first one. So if you're in that spot, all those commissions are going to roll up to you. So think about that, you know, when that tree goes out to thousands of people down the line and those commissions all start rolling up the hill, that could make a pretty big impact.
Yeah, but you got to bring people in to do that.
You have to have people in, but people will be coming in down the line too. So you might have only 3 people in, but there might be, you know, down the tree, there might be 1,000.
Right.
As long as there's no other qualified founding affiliates in the mix, you know, all those 1,000 are going to roll up the hill to you. So that could make a big.
So for an extra 200, you're buying in.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
What level did you buy in at, Woody?
You know, we bought the 3.
You bought the 3, so you just need another 2.
I mean, what the hell?
What
You
the
know,
hell?
1 or 2 hits, you're good.
Yeah. So. All right.
Good stuff.
Well,
Thanks, John.
Sure. Anything else before we wrap up?
John, can you send me a link to make an appointment with you for next week?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all booked up? Well, okay. Well, we have our Craig Mastermind Monday and Tuesday. So maybe, you know, we could figure something out for next Friday. If you're
Okay.
busy or
Yeah, I'm gonna set up that new calendar system, and then I'll be able to get it back up to speed.
That's a
okay.
good idea. I think I'll concentrate on that too, because that calendar function in Kartra really messed me up.
Yeah. I gave up on it, so I'm gonna go.
So
back
if we
to
have
time trade.
things hooked up to it, we just move the page off or move that. Okay, that's
Yeah, you
what I thought.
just move the success page off the form to point to whatever calendar system you want.
Got it.
Pretty easy.
Thank you.
So, all right, guys. Well, have a great rest of the week, and we'll be back on regular time next week.
All right, Thursday. Have a great week,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you,
Okay.
John. That was awesome. Thank you.
John.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.